Friends, most of us love to drink tea every day and morning. And for some people it's common to drink tea at least 2 to 3 times a day. But do you know drinking a lot of tea can risk your life? Yes. In this video I will be discussing some of the bad and good effects of drinking tea. If you found my video informational, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So let's start. Couple of things are as satisfying or relaxing as consuming a hot cup of tea, however the merits of this drink do not stop there. Tea has actually been utilized for its healing residential or commercial properties in standard medication for centuries. Moreover, modern-day research suggests that plant compounds in tea may play a role in reducing your threat of chronic conditions, such as cancer, weight problems, diabetes, and heart disease. Though moderate tea consumption is a really healthy option for the majority of people, exceeding 3-4 cups 710-950 milliliters each day could have some unfavorable adverse effects. Here are 9 possible negative effects of drinking too much tea. Reduced iron absorption. Tea is a rich source of a class of substances called tannins. Tannins can bind to iron in particular foods, rendering it unavailable for absorption in your digestion tract. Iron deficiency is one of the most common nutrient shortages on the planet, and if you have low iron levels, excessive tea consumption might intensify your condition. Research study recommends that tea tannins are more likely to hinder the absorption of iron from plant sources than from animal-based foods. Thus, if you follow a strict vegan or vegetarian diet, you might want to pay additional close attention to how much tea you consume. The exact amount of tannins in tea can differ considerably depending on the type and how it's prepared. That stated, limiting your intake to 3 or fewer cups 710 milliliters per day is likely a safe variety for most people. If you have low iron however still delight in drinking tea, consider having it in between meals as an extra preventative measure. Doing so will make it less most likely to affect your body's ability to soak up iron from your food at mealtimes. Increased stress and anxiety, tension, and restlessness. Tea leaves naturally consist of caffeine. Overconsuming caffeine from tea, or any other source, may add to feelings of tension and restlessness. A typical cup 240 milliliters of tea consists of about 61 milligrams of caffeine, depending on the variety and brewing method. Black teas tend to include more caffeine than green and white ranges, and the longer you high your tea, the higher its caffeine content. Research suggests that caffeine dosages under 200 milligrams per day are unlikely to trigger substantial stress and anxiety in the majority of people. Still, some individuals are more sensitive to the effects of caffeine than others and may require to limit their consumption even more. If you see your tea practice as making you feel tense or nervous, it could be a sign you have actually had too much and may wish to cut back to minimize signs. You might likewise consider choosing caffeine-free organic teas. A ruled-out real tea since they're not originated from the Camellia sinensis plant. Rather, they're made from a range of caffeine-free components, such as flowers, herbs, and fruit. Poor sleep. Because extreme consumption may interrupt your sleep cycle. Melatonin is a hormonal agent that indicates your brain that it's time to sleep. Some research suggests that caffeine might hinder melatonin production, resulting in poor sleep quality. Insufficient sleep is connected to a variety of psychological concerns, including fatigue, impaired memory, and minimized attention span. What's more, chronic sleep deprivation is associated with an increased danger of obesity and poor blood sugar control. People metabolize caffeine at various rates, and it's challenging to forecast precisely how it affects sleep patterns in everybody. Some studies have actually found that even just 200 milligrams of caffeine consumed 6 or more hours prior to bedtime might negatively, whereas other research studies have observed no significant result. If you're experiencing symptoms related to bad sleep quality and regularly drinking caffeinated tea, you may wish to consider lowering your intake, specifically if you also take in other caffeine-containing drinks or supplements. Nausea. Particular compounds in tea might cause, especially when consumed in big amounts or on an empty stomach. Tannins in tea leaves are responsible for the bitter, dry taste of tea. The astringent nature of tannins can likewise aggravate digestive tissue, potentially leading to uneasy symptoms, such as nausea or stomach ache. Heartburn. The caffeine in tea may trigger heartburn or aggravate pre-existing symptoms. Research study suggests that caffeine can unwind the sphincter that separates your esophagus from your stomach, permitting acidic stomach contents to more easily stream into the esophagus. Caffeine may likewise contribute to a boost in overall stomach acid production. Pregnancy issues. Exposure to high levels of caffeine from drinks may increase your threat of problems, such as miscarriage and low infant birth weight. Headaches. Periodic caffeine consumption might help eliminate specific. Nevertheless, when utilized chronically, the opposite impact can take place. Regular usage of caffeine from tea might contribute to frequent headaches. Some research study suggests that as little as 100 milligrams of caffeine daily could add to day-to-day headache recurrence, but the precise quantity needed to activate a headache can vary based upon an individual's tolerance. Lightheadedness. Although or dizzy is a less typical adverse effects, it could be due to consuming excessive caffeine from tea. Caffeine dependence. Caffeine is a habit-forming stimulant, and regular intake from tea or any other source could cause reliance.